Lady yields. Chair recognizes Mr. Van Drew for his round of questions.
Thank you, Chairman. I love the title of this hearing, Drugs, Thugs, and Fish. Who would put that? If you weren't involved in the Coast Guard or it's one of these industries, you wouldn't know exactly how that all comes together. But it's good to see both of you again. Appreciate you being here. Just to go over a few things they've been touched on. We know the Coast Guard does what nobody else can do, enforces the law at sea, defends our maritime border, defends our legitimate commerce, defends the fishing industry. People don't realize very often that are not involved in this process how important that piece of it is too. We've had a record number of drug interdictions, as you know, and the Coast Guard is being asked to do more than any ever was asked in this area. And by the way, I wanted to emphasize it was important. I heard some other members mention some concerns they had. Once the drugs are in our children's bodies, we've already lost. We've got a problem. Forgetting the financial aspect of what it does to America, the billions upon billions of dollars in treatment, in social work, in medical care, in lost hours of work, in a job, of destroying people's lives. So it is up to us to ensure that before that gets into America, that we stop it, whether it's on land, whether it's on sea, whether it's drug cartels, whether it's corrupt politicians. I applaud what's happening when we're working hard to prevent this from coming over. I do not see how anybody can ever defend drug cartels.
All right, folks. Let's talk about this clip from Forbes Breaking News where Congressman Jeff Van Drew absolutely nails the truth about the Coast Guard and the drug crisis facing this country. But before we dive and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because this is exactly the kind of conversation the mainstream media doesn't want happening. Now, credit where credit is due. The Coast Guard does what no other agency can do. They enforce the law at sea, defend our maritime borders, protect American commerce, and stop drug poison before it reaches our streets. And yet, they're constantly overlooked. Van Drew says something that really hits home. Once drugs are in our children's bodies, we've already lost. That's not a talking point, that's the cold, hard truth. Once fentanyl reaches our communities, the damage is done. Families are destroyed. Lives are lost. This isn't just a drug issue. This is a sovereignty issue. A nation that can't protect its borders on land or at sea is not a serious nation. Drug cartels don't care about politics or feelings. They exploit weakness. And anyone who tries to defend or downplay the threat of cartels is flat out wrong. I also respect that Van Drew says it clearly. There is no moral defense for drug traffickers. None. These people poison Americans for profit, especially our kids. That should be a red line for everyone.
Through there right now, Congressman. So,
Okay.
But I think that's one of our, the other thing I would say is for us, the big beautiful bill is a start. There's a lot of acquisitions money that's in there. There is some depot level maintenance to avoid going into the same cycle that Ms. McLeod helps us highlight. Of maintenance, we need a lift in our annual budget in order to pay for the personnel, the sustainment, the maintenance, and the re-equipping as software goes obsolete, as parts go obsolete. We need that continued support from the Congress as well.
So that, Chairman, that's something we might keep in mind and work all of us together on that issue. And we always hear all these terrible things about the big beautiful bill. I don't agree, and I'm trying not to be partisan here. Record amounts of money going into the Coast Guard and many other areas as well, including our airports, FAA, et cetera. So I think that there's a lot of good there as well. When you say real quickly, you might need to recalculate with the numbers going through as far as training. Could you just give me a brief snapshot?
Now let's talk funding because finally, after years of talk, the Coast Guard is getting real resources, new assets, better infrastructure, more recruits, training facilities like Cape May running at record levels again. That's huge. Morale matters. Pride and service matters. When Americans want to put the uniform back on, that tells you something is going right. But we can't stop halfway. Assets mean nothing without maintenance. Equipment means nothing without trained personnel. Congress has to stay focused and stop playing politics with national security. Bottom line, the Coast Guard is doing heroic work. Jeff Van Drew is asking the right questions, and stopping drugs before they hit America should be non-negotiable. That's not radical, that's common sense.